Hey everyone, welcome to Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. This is a show all about farmers markets and how to increase your market business success. Whether you're a farmers market manager or a farmer or food producer selling at farmers markets, this is the podcast for you. Today's episode, we're talking about the new year, New Year's resolutions for market managers, vendors, and farmers, and giving you a couple homework assignments to think of. My name is Brijet Myers. I am one of your hosts here on Tent Talk. I'm a longtime market manager here in San Diego, and I do it all from pulling permits to vetting vendors. And I'm also one of the Farmers Market Pros and the education coordinator for Intense, the Farmers Market Conference.
And you're all farmers market pros out there, too.
That's right.
We know you are. I'm Catt Fields-White. I'm the director of San Diego Markets, still actively managing markets, carrying barricades, popping tents. I'm the founder of Farmers Market Pros, providing community, education, and a big conference for people in the farmers market industry, and a professional farmers market speaker. I'll be seeing you at some small farm conferences and Farmers Market Association conferences this year.
So exciting.
Yes.
Your dreams come true.
It is.
So it's almost the next decade. It's approaching quickly.
Coming right up. That actually got my attention. Something on Instagram, I think, a couple months ago that said, y'all, it's 59 days to the next decade. Think about it.
What did you want to achieve in this decade? And have you done it? And you better hurry up and do it.
Hurry. Hurry. We've got a day.
What is it, the 30th? 24 hours, so check
We're
off those
deadline
boxes.
people, but I don't think I'm going to get that book written.
Drink lots of coffee.
I did get some things done, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we expanded way more heavily into education this decade.
Yes.
Which was a goal. This is the decade that I got one of my daughters and some of my grandchildren moved to San Diego, right?
I came over this decade.
It's
That's
been
right.
this decade, right? When did you move to San Diego?
2012.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's our San Diego decade, really.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So San Diego's always been good to us.
Yes.
Now we just got to work on the rest of the family.
I know. My sister, she's not listening to this podcast, I'm sure. But if she were, we would tell her to hustle on over here.
Yep.
Yep. Well, it was nice to spend Christmas in Phoenix, though. We go
Yes.
back to Phoenix and hang out.
That's right.
So, and we hope everyone else had a good holiday. We had a nice busy market. That market in between Christmas and New Year's is always really busy.
Yeah.
So people stocking up on food for New Year's Eve parties, just getting out of the house, showing their family the coolest thing in town, which is always the farmer's market, the local
Absolutely.
market. That's
Hitting
right.
the non-food vendors and buying themselves the gifts they hoped for and didn't get.
That's right. That's what I do.
It's always a big retail day.
I know. My husband and I we're terrible to shop for each other. And so sometimes we just give each other cash. We're like, here, just go get yourself a gift that you like because,
Isn't that magical?
I mean, we've been together for 15 years and it's like, I don't want any more weird crap from him that he thinks that I like. And I don't want to try to shop for him because he's impossible to shop for. So
Very practical.
we just transfer money into each other's bank accounts.
Oh,
I know.
so pragmatic.
So-
Taking the magic out of the holidays.
I know. And he cooks
But,
for me
you know,
too. He
yeah.
cooks me a nice meal. He
Well,
asks
see,
me
now-
what I want. That's nice.
I like experiences as gifts. Who needs more stuff, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Don't be listening, retail vendors. But who needs more stuff? Experiences. So buy that great food and make your best friend a meal.
That's right.
Yep.
It's really what it's all about.
I think
Go to
so,
the
too.
farmer's market and get your food there.
Exactly. Eat better.
That's right. So how are we celebrating the start of this new decade?
We're
Launching
making
in.
resolutions. Are we doing resolutions?
I think you and I are celebrating the new decade by hustling up and getting this conference ready.
Yes.
Which is what January is all about for us, which is really exciting. And looking at other people's conferences they have coming up this year and kind of setting our goals for education for ourselves, as well as spreading our knowledge and sharing education with others.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so excited about getting to speak at some conferences because I do my bit and then I get to wander around to the other sessions and learn from all the other great speakers. So it's fun to be out there.
Love that.
See what other folks are doing.
For sure.
Do you make New Year's resolutions?
I love New Year's resolutions. I
too.
always make them, even if they're going to fizzle out. I just really like the start of a new year.
Me too.
I love it.
Taking stock, kind of seeing where you are, where you want to go, figuring
Yeah.
out that path. I actually do that a lot in the fall Maybe because it's my birthday or it's when school starts or whatever. So that's in my head as sort of a New Year thing. So my fall resolutions at this point have either continued on their way in a positive way or they've fallen by the wayside. So it's a good time next quarter to take stock again and kind of refine resolutions, come up with some new ones, go forward.
I'm very much like, if you fall off the train, just get back on.
Get back on.
I don't really get super
right.
discouraged if something fizzles out or I lose track of it or I get off my like exercise plan or eating plan or whatever, those kind of resolutions or something I wanted to do with the business. And I just really completely left it, to the side of my desk. I just pick it up and just brush it off and start again. Here we go. You can always start again.
I think that's good advice. Just start again.
Mm-hmm. Just get back on it.
So you broke an egg. That doesn't mean you throw the whole dozen on the floor,
That's
does it?
right. We're not going to use the throw the baby out with the bathwater thing because I always think that's kind of morbid. But but I did sign up personally for a very long 4-day, 40-mile hike in Catalina
that's right.
in May. So I paid for it, and now I have to do it. So now I really have to train for that.
Wow.
I can't really set that training aside, so I will be doing that.
Do train for that. Do you remember a couple of years ago when I signed up for the half marathon and then forgot about it and never trained? It was like 3 weeks before the half marathon. I thought, okay then.
I should walk around the block a couple times.
I should probably walk a bit. I was speed walking the marathon. I wasn't running, but and then I finally did get out there and walk 8 miles, and I thought, I can walk 8, 13 will be fine. Does not translate. Take my advice, folks. That math is not accurate.
There's a big difference between those mileage.
8 and 13. Yeah, I was hurting those last 5 miles, but I made it. Came in ahead of some runners.
You did it.
I did it.
I don't want to.
But I don't recommend that. I would suggest you start training for that hike right now.
Yes, training now. That's my New Year's resolution for sure, personally. So
that'll be good.
Yeah, it'd be nice. And I do have a New Year's resolution to, #self-care, whatever those things are. So kind of taking care of myself more. So hiking is one of the ways that I do that. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, good. That's actually productive for your business, too.
Yeah.
A little downtime, a little time outdoors, a little time walking around. Don't you get some of your best ideas then?
For sure.
Out there where it's quiet, there's no more incoming stuff, so you get a chance to just kind of ruminate and drift, and that's when the really brilliant ideas pop up, I think.
It's definitely true, and just getting away from, digital things, just because my life is that's how it is. I am on a computer a lot and on my phone a lot just for the markets, and as much time as I spend outdoors on site at the farmer's market, there's a lot of that back end time where I'm staring at a screen. So it's good to have a hobby, something that I really enjoy and something that I make myself do where I get away from that and I can clear my head. And then I think of all sorts of great stuff.
I have to say, I'm really relieved to hear that you're not looking at your phone on the trail. You've fallen off those mountains.
I really can't. I wouldn't say I'm a clumsy person, but I don't want to fall down. Some of those hikes are pretty steep, so I got to pay attention.
Yeah, so we highly recommend. And if you're a farmer, I would imagine you get great ideas out on the tractor and walk in the fields. And even if you're having to chase down animals while you do it or harvest, it's still a little zen while you're working. Yeah. It's quiet.
In the kitchen, baking.
Right.
Or, whatever you're...
Stirring jam.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So take that time for yourself, for sure. And then think about other resolutions that you're doing. So kind of ask yourself, are you resolving to grow your market or your business in 2020? Are you growing? Are you expanding? Is your resolution to get comfortable with the stage your business is in?
Yeah, and that's an okay resolution too. Yeah. Not everybody needs to scale.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk all the time now about how do you scale this business? How do you take that business and make it gigantic? How do you get it into Whole Foods and what have you? And that's cool. If that's your resolution, absolutely. There's some good resources out there for that. Alley Ball, Retail Ready, go. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ways to make that happen. But it's actually also okay to evaluate and look at it and say, hey, I love doing 5 markets a week. That's a perfect job for me. It gives me some time in the kitchen, which is why I started this to begin with. It gives me some time with my kids. I can incorporate my family into working with me. I like having my hands in the product. I like seeing people face-to-face that are trying it. Those are not the same skills that you're going to use if you get into a massive wholesale operation. So both of those things are good. And that's part of that whole resolution process is taking stock, evaluating what you like about your business, and deciding how to make your business right-sized for you so that it fulfills the needs that you have and the goals that you have.
For sure. I think we've talked to a couple of vendors that have grown into a brick and mortar and then at some point folded that or kind of scaled back a little bit. And just anecdotally from them, they've told us, I wish I would have kind of just done the markets really well and just had fun doing that instead of always like chasing after the next thing and going after taking the next big bite out of something, because I was having fun. It was sustainable, just staying in the market with my products. That's what I enjoyed. And then translating into a brick and mortar or wholesale business is a huge step. And it's, a lot more restrictive. And if you're a creative person and you like to be speaking to people, working on permits for a building is not really exercising those strengths of yours. So yeah, just kind of think about, do you want to chase something like that, which is great? Or do you want to just do what you do right now really well?
Really well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same thing as market managers. We spent a lot of time over the years saying, oh, let's expand. Let's start another market. Mm-hmm. And some of the time, and I think you've been really good, actually, sort of reining us back. Brijet is absolutely the one who says, no, let's not start another market.
I'm the no person on the team, I think.
She's the no person.
Yeah.
Dial it back. We've got plenty to do. So I think you don't necessarily need to start another market. Maybe you want to dig down into your market and see how you can make it stronger, maybe bigger. It may be that a larger market is what you want to aim for, or maybe just stronger and better. Maybe just keep tightening up how you're curating and looking at which categories you really want to stick to, and then dig into sponsorship and marketing and things that will make your customer count higher so that your vendors sell more, so that maybe you can charge a little bit more rent. That makes sense because they're making higher sales, which means you can do some of those community programs you like to do. So it's not always growth that's the goal. Absolutely, we would love to see a farmer's market on every corner. We'd like to have more farmers markets than Starbucks in the world. We think that's a wonderful thing. But realistically, too, there's only so many farmers, and we can only stretch those folks so far. They got to spend some time on the farm. So sometimes more markets is not better.
Exactly. And taking a look at the brain power it takes to put those markets together, staffing needed for those markets, all those things. So, Catt's always like, when people ask us, do you want to start a market here, or do you want to take over this market and manage it? And I think we get excited because we love farmers markets so much, and there's always opportunity. There's opportunity around every corner with farmers markets.
I think we get a request once a week, at least every other week can we start a market here?
Yeah, exactly. But it's, then we have to kind of take stock of our time and how valuable is our time and what do we want to spend it doing, especially now we have our education courses and the conference and speaking and all those things. And we have 3 really great markets.
We do have 3 really great markets. Yeah. And also some of the folks, when they request for a neighborhood to start a market, we have to look at, realistically, are there quality farmers and vendors out there that have time to do another market in another location?
Exactly, yeah. And I think we had that whole episode on doing a feasibility study. So really assessing whether or not as a vendor you can start a new market, as a market manager you can take on the responsibility of operating another market, all those things. So kind of slow down and take stock of that. And maybe your New Year's resolution is to make more kind of conscious decisions about those things.
Yeah. Have some vision about it.
Oh, what's your hashtag, Catt, for 2020?
2020 vision.
Oh, so clever.
We're going to say that so often in the next month or 2.
Oh, boy, I'm excited. The whole year we're going to say it.
The whole year.
At the end of next year, we should do a reflecting on our 2020 vision.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we should write our goals out and we can reflect.
Yeah.
I like that.
You too.
I'm into it.
You too out there. Write your goals down, and then at the end of the year, we're going to compare, see what happened.
We'll discuss it. I'm excited. I'm going to ask at the conference to ask the attendees and the speakers, like, what are some of their New Year's resolutions? Since it's the beginning of February, I feel like people will have assessed their resolutions and maybe gotten started on some, and then we can kind of discuss how that's going and how they're going to change throughout the year.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we'll do a little of that in the Tent Talk Live, coming to you from Intense, the Farmers Market Conference.
So if you're listening and you can't make the conference this year, you can look forward to that because we will broadcast that for you. So other things to think about resolution-wise, if this is a side hustle and you're going to make that leap and leave the day job, that's always a big decision. We talk about that in our monthly Vendor 101 courses that we've been teaching for a long time. We get a lot of people in there that are thinking of leaving their, quote, day job or corporate job and launch into farmers markets full time, or it's going to be a side hustle. And then we kind of follow up with them and, when the time is right for them to do this full time. So are you thinking about that? Are you thinking about making this your full time job here?
We've seen some people that have started as side hustles that have then moved into full-time. That happens a lot.
I love that.
Yeah.
And they get to like excitedly tell us,
Yeah.
I quit my job. I'm like, you didn't quit your job. You just changed a job. This is still a job.
Yeah, I understand. You still do have a job. But this is your job all the time.
It's so fun.
So that's a good thing.
That's right.
And, a lot of people will make that leap into their own business the first part of the year. This is a really common time for us to see people coming to Vendor 101 classes, making the decision. They may not start their business for a couple of months, but this is the time that they're really looking at, okay, it's a new year. I want to change how things are going for me. I'm not entirely happy with my job or my career, or it's just time for a change. So a lot of people get things started. But we do want to recommend that while you're contemplating that, you do a little bit of homework so that you are realistic about what you want to do, whether it should be a side hustle or a full-time thing, what it's going to take you to get started, and do that in kind of an organized way.
Yeah, we see a lot of our success stories. Vendors, they took Vendor 101 or they did some business classes before they got started, and they are the ones that are kind of long haul successful at the markets. So it's worth it to make that investment versus just kind of jumping in excitedly without getting that background knowledge done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the homework steps? Visit markets. Absolutely. Positively, number one, go see the markets that you might be interested in participating in.
Definitely.
Think about what you want to make. I mean, considering that product there's a whole bunch of elements to that. It's what you're excited about. That has to blend with what the market needs. That has to blend with what kind of price you can get versus what you're spending to create a really quality product. So all of those things have to be taken into consideration. Not to toot our own horn, but let's toot our own horn. And anybody else's that's out there doing kind of a similar thing. Think about taking some kind of Vendor 101 class.
Yep.
Because it'll walk you through the steps. A lot of people don't know what they don't know. You don't realize it till you get in there. And if it's a good class, they will have compiled a lot of information that you actually could find if you wanted to spend 7 or 8 days or weeks Googling.
Yeah.
And also some information that you're just not going to get except from somebody that's operated in the farmer's market space.
Yeah.
So that's important. I would do some actual homework and go to a class and get some advice. And then you really got to start thinking about packaging, about pricing versus costing. When you decide what you're going to make, that old saying about do what you love, the money will follow. Money does not follow naturally. It's not a well-trained dog.
No.
You've got to train it. You got to teach it to follow you along. So to do that, there's some logical steps. And then you really can do what you love and have that money come right along with you.
Yeah, you just got to think about it and plan and, adjust as you go. So if you make a plan and it's not working, feel free to adjust it.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
A plan, whether it's a formal business plan or an operations plan, that's a guideline. It's a map. You're allowed to take a side road.
Yep.
You don't have to stick to it, but knowing what your basic path is and what your destination is, I mean, that's important. You don't want to just start driving with no idea where you're going.
Make those goals.
Yeah, set those goals and so that you can check every once in a while and see if you're getting closer.
Exactly. Yep. And see where you want to go and see, do you want to change things up in the future, or do you want to just get really good at what you're doing? Just make those goals and check in with yourself. And if you're already in the markets, it's also good to go to those conferences and go take a class and do some research and take a business class and take a farmers market specific course, because you're always learning. We've been doing this for more than a decade and we are constantly still learning and going and talking to people and networking and just getting better and better at what we do. So,
that's part of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you've already started and you feel like you didn't do that background work on education, it's never too late.
Yeah, for
never
sure.
too late.
That's funny. Actually, remember we had a student that was in our Vendor 101 course a couple of months ago who had been in markets for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? I just decided to take this because I feel like I'm missing some things. And he has so turned his business around. It's so much better.
It's great. It's great to talk to people because you can't find that there's no replacement for speaking to someone who's experienced and who can help you with things. Like you said, you don't know what you don't know. And I feel like that's our feedback from so many people that take the class or that come to the conference. Like, oh, I didn't even know that I didn't know this.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, which is how a lot of education is. Yeah. So, always keep that open mindset and don't be afraid to grow and change and see what 2020 can bring.
That's right. Yeah. Hone your 2020 vision.
2020 vision. All right. Any other final resolutions? What are your personal resolutions, Kat?
Oh, my personal resolutions. Some of the ones that I've made for years and years and years, I'm not making anymore. I'm feeling pretty good about eating healthy. Probably could exercise more. I'll probably make that one again. That's a resolution I make every Thursday. So, get back to Pilates, do it a little more often. Thank goodness I got a job where I walk around a lot. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's helpful. The resolution I make every year that I'm going to make again is to write more. Get that book done. 2020 vision.
Gonna do it.
Yeah. What else? This year, I'm kind of resolving to really dig down and refine some of our educational offerings.
Yeah.
So, and to do more of the public speaking stuff, because that's turned out to be fun. And people seem to like it. And so I've already got a few conferences lined up. So that resolution is on its way already, a couple of days before 2020.
You've always loved that and always talked about how you want to do that and you enjoy it so much. So I'm glad to see those things popping up on your calendar.
Well, and part of the reason I can do that is because you're doing so much at the actual markets, at the physical markets, and I appreciate that. So succession planning, anybody doing that for
that is one of our resolutions.
Yeah,
doing succession planning and long-term goals for businesses. So
get some help.
Yeah.
Get some help. That's a good resolution. So delegate all but the genius, right? Isn't that what Jerome says?
That's right.
That's right. What's your resolution, Brent? Besides that, training for that big hike?
Oh, man, that's going to take up a lot of the time. I'm doing a fair amount of traveling in 2020. So it's kind of a resolution to just say yes to things. Last year, I kind of hunkered down. I didn't do much traveling last year. I was kind of shifting into a different role with the company and focusing on some things. My oldest child went to college.
Yeah,
so
that was a big prep.
Huge transition. So now that she's all settled in there, and hopefully stays that way, going to Hawaii after the conference.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. And then
you're going to Vietnam.
I'm going to Vietnam over the summer. My dad lives in Vietnam. So my college-age daughter and I are going to Vietnam in the summer.
That's going to be a great trip.
Very excited. I do not like long plane rides. I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's the longest plane ride ever.
Yeah. But it's okay. There'll be so much fun at the end.
The rewards will be nice. Yeah.
That's
He's
right.
super stoked that we're coming. So do that. Going to Portland.
Oh, that's right. Big conference in Portland.
Yeah, going to a conference in Portland over the summer too. So that'll be fun. Excited for that.
Good.
All sorts of things. I have other family members graduating. It's going to be busy.
So many graduations
year.
This coming year.
Yeah. My husband has little sisters who are graduating from high school. So that's so exciting. Yeah. So we'll be going back to Phoenix. But yeah, just have fun in 2020.
Have fun in 2020. That is a resolution. That can be a resolution. Whatever we're doing, there's some element of fun in it.
Yeah.
Remember to find the fun.
Exactly.
I'm going to say that's a good resolution for all of us to adapt. Us here, you out there, find the fun.
Find the fun. Clever. Find the fun in 2020. Making a shirt. All right. Well, we hope that you all have a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day celebration.
Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to
Happy
everyone.
New decade.
Be safe, and we'll see you all in 2020.
Strap on those goggles. 2020 vision. Bye.
Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Tent Talk. Please leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you access your podcast, and tell us how you're enjoying the podcast. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss the next episode. And if you want more farmers market tips, tricks, and information, you can subscribe to our weekly newsletter at farmersmarketpros.com and follow us on Instagram at farmersmarketpros. The 4th annual Intense the Farmers Market Conference is coming right up on February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Register right now at farmersmarketpros.com. The advanced ticket price of $295 for an all-access 3-day pass is good through the end of the year, so take that business tax deduction for 2019 and get your tickets right now. This podcast is produced by Farmers Market Pros, where passion meets profit. Today's episode was recorded by Adam Samaha and edited by Justine Marzoni Mead. Original music by David Mead. Thanks so much for listening.